Hi everyone, David here from Tesla Israel. So in the past couple weeks, few weeks, Shabbos is, a bunch of people, friends of mine, people I don't know, come up to me in the streets. They have been asking me my opinion on this new tax that the government wants to put on electric cars. So anybody that hasn't heard of it, I'll explain it a little bit. This tax, what it would be is every time when a person takes their car once a year to go to an inspection, they would measure how much distance the car has been used for, and then based on that amount of distance it was used during the past year, the person would have to pay X amount of taxes. I don't know exactly what the level is. This is the idea that's has come out recently from the government, and from my opinion, this is just insanity. It's just a disgusting law. It does the opposite of everything that you would think of for electric vehicles. ICE vehicles, for instance, they wouldn't do it. That's not the discussion. And the whole reasoning behind it, I'm guessing, is because they're losing all the tax revenue from fuel, from gas, from petrol, which is just ridiculous excuse to hurt people and to prevent people from actually buying electric cars. Just an insane law. If I'm going to travel in an ICE car 20, 30, 40,000 kilometers in a year, and I do the same in an electric car, you're going to charge me for it? Why? Because for what purpose? It's not like you're not getting tax money from electricity. It doesn't make any sense. It's just dumb. Whoever thought of it really needs to be out of the Knesset as soon as possible. And I think any other country that wants to do the same thing, whether it's England or America or any country in Europe, think twice before you actually come up with these insane laws. So, everybody that's seen some of the videos that I made on the Tesla Model Y that I brought to Israel might remember the amount of taxes that I paid on the car, which was around 80-something percent, 87%, 80-something percent. So, because of this reform law of the energy reform, or whatever they want to call it, this tax that they want to put on people driving electric cars. So I thought and also based on the amount of insane taxes that you have to pay here for an electric car, I thought of a reform of my own, reform to the taxation of cars. So in Israel currently, there is two ways which, and also most places, there's two ways in which they actually rate cars. Okay, there's a rating of safety, right? So there's like a rating. You have a safety levels, and for example, Tesla is number one, has the best rating that you can. It's also considered in the world. It's considered the safe. Like all their cars are the safest cars in the world, and the Model Y especially, it was rated the safest car ever. So that's a great thing. Electric cars, I don't think it makes a difference if you're an electric car or an ICE car. Safety is safety, and every car should be as safe as possible, and they have that ability. The other way that things are rated is based on the pollution that it causes to the environment. So obviously, when you're using a car that's an electric car, there is no pollution. So all electric cars, they get a grade of 1. All of them, every single last one of them, get a grade of 1 when it comes to pollution, which is great. This is the exact reason what everybody wants, right? We want to save the planet. We want to make things better on the planet. Yeah, it's true, 100%. And there's other things that other people, bring up that, to make the car, to make the batteries, all this stuff, it also has an effect. Yeah, it has a carbon footprint, that's true. So I tried to come up with a new kind of rating for electric cars, because electric cars just don't fit into that second one. They're all number one. So why use that for electric cars? So I was trying to think of a way which I think it's a way that could work in Israel to actually, first of all, to rate electric cars so people can actually know what they're buying, and can compare them realistically. Because obviously another rating for a car is the price, so they can compare the price. But the price, it speaks to some people, doesn't speak to other people. You have the safety, which speaks to most people, I think, and then you have this rating of the pollution, which just doesn't make sense. So I thought of a reform to, first of all, car taxation as well as the rating for electric cars. So in an electric car, if anybody saw the video that I took to the Sea of Galilee, to Tveria, so I made some calculations there based on the amount of distance traveled and the amount of energy used, which is it's a base measurement on any sort of electric car, which is the watt hours per kilometer. So I think this is actually a great way that we can make another kind of rating, similar to the pollution, similar to the rating of safety. We can put them into groups, the exact same way. So the best car that's out there, not in production, but the best car out there gets around 100 watt hours per kilometer. That's what it's able to do. Tesla, which is the next best, is around 150, between 150 and 160, depending on which model. They get 150, 160 watt hours per kilometer. Most people are sitting in the 180s, 190s, 200s. It goes all the way up to 300 and something watt hours per kilometer. So obviously, you want people to use the ones that are, you want people to buy the ones that are less, at the 150. Because why would you want a car that takes twice as much of electricity to go the same distance? First of all, it's going to put burden on the electrical grid. Second of all, its carbon footprint is way higher. It's way more. So, my idea is to split it up into groups. Say, something like from 100 all the way up to like 170, 175, something like that. Any cars that fit into there, you tax them. Fine, I don't have a problem with taxing it, even though I prefer not to have any taxes. I think it's much better, and it's much better for the country, for the people. But fine, I understand the need, so you tax it. 10%, 20%. I'm talking about in Israel. Other countries, 10% wouldn't fly. Let's say 10 to 20% on those cars that sit between the 100 and 175 watt hours per kilometer. And let's say 175 to 200, you tax them at 30%. Let's say the 200 to 225, you tax them at 40%. 225, 250 at 50%. And anything above 250, or 250 to 275, you keep going on and on and on. 300 and above. Anything that's above 300, I think you should tax as much as you want. Put in 120% like you do on the ICE vehicles, for all I care. This is the idea. And I think this will, first of all, encourage people to buy more electric vehicles. And they'll also buy the ones that are more efficient. Because then you're actually balancing out the price of these people that don't want to do any sort of engineering work in order to make a better car. They just want to sell you a car. You don't even know if it's going to work for 5-10 years. They just want to sell it to you, so they'll make it as cheap as possible, but not so much if you compare it to the other ones. So it'll balance out that price. And then once you have, let's say, 1 million cars, 1 million electric cars in Israel, most people, they have the ability to, and it's actually very easy, will charge their car at night. They come home, put it on the charger, charges up, they use it in the morning. Why is this beneficial to the country? So anybody that knows about the way that electricity is produced, so the power plants, they can't just shut off the power plants. They can reduce the amount of electricity that they make by a certain amount, but they still have a huge amount of electricity at night that's created that nobody uses. And that electricity goes to the garbage and actually increases the price of the cost of electricity during the day. Because the more you create during the day, the more you have to create during the night. It means the more is going to waste at night. So if you can get 1 million electric vehicles on the road, as an example, and then person, let's say each one of those people, they use $50 worth or 50 shekels worth of electricity per week, 200 shekels a month. That means the electric company will have another 200 million shekels a month coming in on its cheapest electricity, which is electricity at night. This will save a lot of money for the electric company. It'll make them a lot of money, first of all. It also will bring in more tax revenue for the government, because obviously government also taxes the electricity. You can see right now they're raising the taxes on electricity by another 5%, which is just crazy, but they're doing it. What else can it do? So if the electric company all of a sudden is not wasting this electricity at night, people are using it to charge their cars. First of all, it'll take a burden off of the day, right? People won't charge during the day. It'll take that burden off of the day. Second of all, if the electric company is fair and the government is fair, it'll go and it'll balance out the cost during the day. So instead of raising the cost during the day by 5% and hurting people that are poorer people and they're making less money, you can balance it out. You're actually helping the poor by getting people that actually have the ability to buy an electric car that's a little bit more expensive than the ICE car. You're actually helping them buy these cars. You're making it more worthwhile for them to buy the car. And in the long run, you're actually helping poor people, right? Because if the people are charging it at night, the electric company can lower the cost during the day. They can balance out, just like they do now, when they lose money at night. So what do? They balance out that cost. The electricity lost at night, everybody pays for it during the day. Doesn't matter if you're poor, rich, middle income, doesn't matter. This way, it's the same thing. If people that can afford to buy electric vehicles, they charge their cars at night, they're using the electricity that's being wasted by the electric company, which they have to. It's not that I'm blaming them for wasting it. They have to waste it. Here, you get rid of that problem. They won't be wasting it anymore. You balance it out with the day, and then all of a sudden you're lowering the cost of living for people that don't have a lot of money. People that can't afford to buy electric cars, they can't even afford to buy a car. They use public transportation, which is great. But you'll save them money instead of taxing them more and more and more and putting a huge burden on the lower income people, which is what's going on right now. So this is my idea. I'm going to reach out to some members of Knesset, send them an email, other ways that I have, and see if anybody will be interested in this idea. I can explain it to them. Anybody that's in the government that sees this video and wants to reach out to me, you're more than welcome to. I'd be happy to sit with anybody. I think this hits everybody's pocket, whether you're from the left or the right, whether you're from religious, not religious, it doesn't make a difference. It hits the pocket, everybody. So anybody here wants to share this video, it'd be great if we can get more and more people on board with something like this. I think we can get it to happen. And anybody that has any sort of comments, criticisms of what my idea is, please respond below. And hopefully we can actually change something for the better and make it easier for people and not harder.